Bienvenidos. Welcome to the 47th annual convening of one of the most enriching experiences in our community, the celebration of diversity and traditions known as Tucson Meet Yourself. I am Supervisor Betty Villegas, and on behalf of the Pima County Board of Supervisors and all the residents of our beloved community, I am happy you can join us. Pima County is a mix of ancestral cultures with lifetime and longtime residents and our new arrivals, all sharing the air, the land, and the history of the beautiful Sonoran Desert. Lucky for us, we also share the foods, dances, music, manual arts, and rituals of dozens of different cultural communities and folk groups, all of which call Pima County home. Every year, Tucson Meet Yourself, sometimes referred to as TMY, is our community's shared big tent where we discover, respect, and celebrate each other. Congratulations and thank you, Tucson Meet Yourself organizers, for adapting this year's 2020 festival to the new public health precaution guidelines. This year, TMY has reframed the event to include a socially distanced virtual experience that offers each of us an opportunity to be connected while remaining safe. There is so much beauty, strength, and resilience in every one of our cultural traditions, and I encourage you to join us in support and celebration of them all. Please enjoy all the offerings, and remember, we will get through all the challenges because we are Pima County strong.
Welcome to this program, part of the 2020 edition of Tucson Meet Yourself Reframe. I want to take this moment to thank our sponsors. Without their generosity, none of these wonderful offerings would have been possible. First, our major sponsors: Pima County, the City of Tucson, the National Endowment for the Arts, the Arizona Commission on the Arts, the Arts Foundation for Tucson and Southern Arizona, and the University of Arizona College of Social and Behavioral Sciences, and the Southwest Center. In addition, I want to thank our presenting sponsors, businesses that stuck with us even in these difficult times. Thank you to Cox, Tucson Electric Power, Visit Tucson, Desert Diamond Casino, and Chicanos por la Causa. Enjoy the program.
Hello and welcome. I want to say thank you for joining us here in Tucson Meet Yourself Reframed Culture Kitchen. I want to thank you for joining us for this premiere of a new Foodways Wednesdays live event with the San Xavier Co-op Farm and about the Tepary bean. This event is hosted and was conceptualized really in conjunction with the City of Tucson's, this Tucson City of Gastronomy Social Justice Committee. My name is Leanna Hernandez, and I have the honor of being this year's Culture Kitchen curator for Tucson Meet Yourself Reframed. In addition to all of our sponsors and participants and community partners that you just learned about, this series is made possible with the help and work of a wonderful group of staff members, volunteers, and community members who compose the Tucson Meet Yourself family. And I personally just want to take a moment right now and say a huge thank you, in particular to my colleagues, Adam Cooper Teran, Kimmy Eisel, and Nelda Ruiz, for helping to shepherd us through this digital experience. And to all my colleagues at Tucson Meet Yourself, I say thank you, and I miss seeing you all, and I can't wait till we can be together again. And so to you, our Tucson Meet Yourself community, I say thank you for the love and support you have shown throughout this most unusual year, and for this new Tucson Meet Yourself Reframed experience. And I welcome you to sit back and relax as we learn more about one of the most incredible farms of Tucson. So today I'm joined by the people of San Xavier Cooperative Farm, and this session we'll be hearing from farm manager Gabriel Vega. Hi Gabe, thanks for being here. We are also going to be joined by Amy Juan, who is a community member and activist and educator. And we will see and chat with various San Xavier Cooperative staff, Joshua Preston, Francine Bautista, and Mrs. MARYIA Miles as well. But I want to say right now and kick off this presentation with saying welcome and thank you to Alejandro Higuera, who is a filmmaker who will share some about a short film that he created. And so I just wanted to say welcome and thank you all for being here. It means a lot to me to see your faces and to be engaging this process live. So thank you so much for being here. And Alejandro, do you want to talk about your film a little bit?
Yes. Hello, everyone. Amane devote eminewe inepo Alejandro tea ketchimalea. Hello, my name is Alejandro Higuera. I am a member of the Pascuyaki tribe here located in southern Arizona, one of the 22 tribes in this area here. So as Leanne was saying, I'm a filmmaker. I went formally schooled to get that education, and now I'm giving it back to the community by delivering, these outlets of media that demonstrates, what we're up to out here in Indian country. So very happy to be here. And thank you to Tucson Meet Yourself for putting this virtual version online. I'm excited to see that we're still kind of going through with a lot of normal things that we're used to seeing. So thank you for that. So a little bit about the film. So if you're not familiar with the San Xavier Co-op, it's an amazing place. Not too far from the downtown area of Tucson. So here there's a lot of traditional foods are harvested here, and they're celebrated, and I love that it's culturally rooted with the Sonora O'odham Nation, which is the ancestral lands that that we're on in the Tucson area. But I spend a lot of time here in the co-op, San Xavier Co-op, just filming, observing, and really trying to capture the magic that's available here, and the produce, that the product is available to the residents of Tucson. So that's a little bit about it, but I'll let the video speak for itself.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for this Tucson Meet Yourself Sustainability and Food Justice virtual series. I'm Gabriel VEGA. I'm the farm manager of the San Xavier Cooperative Farm in the San Xavier district of the Tohono O'odham Nation in Tucson, Arizona. Here at the farm, we grow traditional autumn crops such as our 60-day corn, our hod, which is our autumn squash, and our Tepary bean. Our Tepary bean is highlighted in this series, and it is a crop that has been grown in this region for over 4,000 years. And here at the farm, we are proudly continuing this 4,000-year agricultural legacy. In addition to growing these traditional crops, we grow alfalfa and various hay products. All our products are grown without any synthetic pesticides, herbicides, and fertilizers. Our methods of farming incorporate the environment and the health and well-being of our animal and plant relatives. We make sure we don't add any toxins to our environment for the well-being of our health soil and our pollinators. So we are honored to have partnerships during these difficult times. We have partnered with the International Indian Treaty Council, the Southern Arizona Community Food Bank, the Yometekia Museum, and the Agroecology Fund. These partnerships have allowed us to provide the community with cooked meals, dry food distribution, seedlings and fruit tree distribution. So people that are at home during these times can start their own gardens, plant their own orchards. And so we'd like to thank all these organizations for helping us out during this time.
Good morning, Bonjour, Francine Bautista. I'm here. I work at the San Xavier Co-op Farms. My position is the event coordinator. And this is
MARYIA Miles. I'm the kitchen assistant here at the San Xavier Co-op.
Today we're going to be doing our Tepary green brownies. They are gluten-free. We do use the products from the farm, the Tepary green brownies. Also the honey, which we do have here also. And today we're going to start with our dry goods, which is the bean brownies, and your cocoa, and your chocolate chips.
And we have 2 cups of honey, 3 eggs, a tablespoon of butter, almond extract, baking powder, and vanilla extract, and a half a tablespoon of salt.
So first we're going to start with your Tepary green brownies, 2 cups. You put it in your blender here. Put it all in there. It's going to be like a paste. You blend it, chop it down. You get it going. Put it to medium speed, high speed. And from right here, you're going to start putting your eggs in. Your honey, start adding your honey in there. Your vanilla, your butter, your almond, some salt. Your baking powder. Get that all together and blend it. Should make about 9 slices, depending on your cuts. After that, you come and you put it in a parchment paper. You drizzle it on, spread it around. Get all you can in there. Get it all in there. Okay. Get it all in there. Move it around. And the last part of this, the sweetness, is your chocolate chips. Once you get that done, you get a little chocolate chips. Oh, sorry. Get a lot of chips in your hand. Sprinkle it all around. Give it a little taste and flavor.
And then we just put it in the oven. And there we go. 50 for 45 minutes. So this is what your brownies will look like after they're all done. You can cut them up any size you like. You can put any toppings you like. And we enjoyed filming this with you guys. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to add us on Facebook and Instagram.
And come by the store. Come by the store and pick up some Tepary beans, some honey. We do variety of baking throughout the week. So come by and support us and enjoy your gluten-free brownies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
It's what the Spaniards first called us when they came over, was the papago, which translates to bean eaters. But we never, known ourselves as like bean eaters. But we do eat like a lot of beans, and the Tepary bean was like a staple of our diet. Sustainability and food justice, to me, go hand in hand, because every year that's what we think about, is like what's like the most drought tolerant plant that we can use to to save our water, give back to the community by planting mesquite trees or doing workshops. On food justice, we don't have a lot of 60-day corn out there anymore, or Tepary beans. It's like it's rare to find. Like in most homes, you'll find pinto beans. But with Tepary beans, it's like it gets you full a lot faster in a small amount. Like just because we have machines doesn't mean that it's easy work. You know, we still have to get down and get our hands in the dirt. I mean, sometimes we don't even have the harvesting tools to do it. For instance, we have the corn puller, and the corn puller is made for corn that grows at a certain height. But 60-day corn, they grow randomly on the stalk. And then same goes for the Tepary beans. Beans usually grow in a bush, but ours do too. But they go up and then they slouch back down, which makes it kind of harder for us to harvest, even for the machine, because it has to get lower and then spin and all that. And it's long nights. And just because they don't see us doesn't mean that we're not really doing anything. We always have something to do.
Gutierrez from San Xavier Co-op Farm. This morning we're in the bow field. This is where all the Tepary beans are, and luckily we came this morning to see the farmers, the community members who are actually growing the food and growing the bow, the Tepary beans out here in the field today harvesting. So we're right on time with the harvest moon and harvest time, and we have some Tepary beans about here, and as you can see they're different colors, and this is a really beautiful thing to see because it shows how long we've come in terms of growing the different varieties, the different colors of Tepary beans. And so it's really beautiful to see. Usually you'll see mostly the stuha bao or the wipigi bao, which is the red or the white. But as you can see, there's also some stuk, some black, and almost a chocolate colored bao, as well as some that almost look a little purple. So as we understand, we've had several varieties of not just bao, but also several varieties of corn and different kinds of beans. And so this makes us really happy to see today that these varieties are coming back, and we're able to enjoy them and share them with the community. And so bao, Tepary beans are a really important part of who we are as O'odham. Long time ago, when the Spaniards first arrived, they called us papago, and that means the bean eaters, just because we ate a lot of beans. And we changed our name from the Papago to the Tohono O'odham Nation in 1986. But I laugh at that fact because I do love beans, any type of beans, and they're good for us. And so today and for the rest of the season, we're going to celebrate our foods. And as far as this community, Tucson, is something we should be very proud of and aware of, that our foods are part of the foundation of what makes this area and what makes this community so special and so unique. These foods are foods that we can't find anywhere else in the world, and especially for the fact that they grow in our type of environment, and it's a changing environment. It's a dry, it's a desert environment. And so not only are we celebrating how these beans have contributed to our resiliency, but now with the changing climate throughout the world and seeing a lot of drought and desertification, I think a lot of us are anticipating that our foods are going to help other people throughout the world and help other communities to survive with very little water. And so that's what we also like to acknowledge, is that when we eat these foods, we're taking in all of those beautiful traits that it has while it's growing, to be resilient, to survive with very little water, to withstand the heat, and to just basically take care of itself. And so when we eat these foods, especially the bao, which thrives on very little water, we're taking all of those good nutrients and characteristics and energy and just basically all these blessings into our body, they help us to be who we are as O'odham and continue to survive here. And so, Tucson, meet yourself. uh, when I first participated in a Tucson Meet Yourself event, one thing I was kind of perturbed by was a representation of O'odham food was popovers or fry bread, and I didn't think that was fair, knowing that we have all of these other foods that we can acknowledge for this area, and especially in looking at the title for the city of gastronomy here in Tucson. We want to acknowledge that, and we actually want to speak up and stand up for ourselves and for our food and say, this is what makes us who we are as desert people. It's not necessarily popovers or fry bread, although it's good. And especially good with some beans, with some bao, with some Tepary beans. But we want to change that. We want to change the outlook on indigenous foods, on O'odham foods, and educate the greater community on how special these foods are, and how and why the need to incorporate them into our everyday diets. There's so many types of beans that are on the shelves in our grocery stores, but if you take a little time to travel a bit, come out to San Xavier Co-op Farm and see and buy some of the foods that we have here, it's going to add a little bit more. It's going to add a little bit more to your everyday meals. And why Tepary beans are important to us, or just some of the teachings that we have here in our community, is that there's a story about a medicine man, about a man who traveled across the sky. And some people say it was just him. Some people say that he was on a donkey or a mule, and that as he was traveling across the sky, there was a tear in his bag, and in his bag were bao, or Tepary beans. And as he traveled across the sky, he left a trail of beans, of bao. And what we call that trail today is the what we call that trail today is the Thalmak, the Milky Way, the Thalmak Thonadic. So at night when we look up in the sky and we see the Thalmak, we see the Milky Way, we see the beans, we see the Tepary beans. And I think for a lot of reasons, that teaches us the path, the right path to continue going on. And I think especially now, as we look towards the future, with the changing climate, there's some things to be concerned about, but I think there's also some things to celebrate. And one of those things is how we're reclaiming our foods and how we're bringing them back to life. In the early 2000s, one of our elder farmers, his name is Clifford Pablo, he started to visit a lot of the young people in the community, and he started to ask, where are our new farmers? He had begun to look around the community. He had begun to look around the community and see that there weren't any young or new farmers, and that he was growing older himself. And so when he came to the organization, Tohono O'odham Community Action, and started to ask, what are we doing to grow farmers? We really started to take a hard look at what we were doing. And one of the things that he shared, I think, is what really got to us and what really lit the fire, was that he said, in the early 1920s, the O'odham communities were growing about 1 million pounds of bao, of Tepary beans. And in the early 2000s, we were growing about 100 pounds. And so just to imagine going from growing millions of pounds of Tepary beans and then to very, very little, we realized what the situation was. But it's not just about growing beans, it's about building community and basically reteaching our community the benefits of growing and eating our traditional foods When we're growing, we're doing physical activity, we're being outside. And then also there's other things that come along with it, like the stories and like the songs. And it's just natural that that reconnection happens. And then when we're able to harvest and share with our community, that's also part of the community building. And it's just a full circle of how we've taken care of our community throughout the years. And so we really see this as a way of healing a lot of different things that our community face today in terms of health, not just physical health, but mental and spiritual health as well. And so our work with our foods, with our traditional foods, is all about that. It's about strengthening who we are as O'odham and strengthening our community, and not just our own community, but the greater community, for us to understand, what are some ways to move forward and working together to make sure that everybody's fed, to make sure that everybody's healthy, and that we also have clean land and clean water to grow these foods. That's also an important thing. So I like to share a song. It's a planting song, and it's one of the 4 planting songs that were taught to me and others while we were on the nation's youth council, the Tohono O'odham Nation Youth Council, and these songs were taught to us by an elder named Francis Manuel, the late Francis Manuel of San Pedro Village. So I just want to acknowledge her and dedicate this song to all of our farmers who work very, very hard day in and day out, from our elder farmers like Clifford Pablo and Pete Blaine and others, to our younger farmers who are standing right behind us. So this is the first planting song, and it's singing about the planting of hod, which is the squash, and the huon, which is the corn, and asking the corn for the tassels to reach the sky, and the vines of the hod, the vines of the squash to reach the ends of the earth, kind of wrap itself around with these vines. So those are the visualizations. We're encouraging these plants to grow, and there's a little what some people call a lullaby in the song, and that's it is a lullaby. It's a lullaby to the seeds as we're putting them in the ground, giving them that love and good energy for them to grow, to take care of us and take care of it. So that's the song. Iru ya aru Shashawanyika wa okama ho nyu oshanyima maha maha che ona Iru ya aru Shashawanyika wa okamu hari oshanyima maha maha ke ona Iru ya aru Shashawanyika wa okama ho nyu oshanyima maha maha che ona Iru ya aru Shashawanyika wa okamu hari oshanyima maha maha ke ona Iru ya aru. Sapo. Thank you.
We have continued to farm. We are as resilient as the native crops we grow. We've been resilient for over 4,000 years and will continue to be resilient for several generations ahead. So thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you all at the farm where you can come purchase our products. And in addition to our traditional crops, our hay, we also have honey that is produced here on the farm. We have catering services available. So if you'd like to utilize those services for your small gatherings, please let us know. You can reach out to us at 520-295-3774, You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and you can visit us on our website at sanxaviercoop.org.
Hi, welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. We just shared that beautiful video that was produced by Alejandro Higuera, and so I just want to say big thanks for that. And I'm not sure, had everybody seen that? Had you all? Sorry, my phone. Sorry. Live events. Had you all had a chance to check out the video before we just streamed it?
Yes.
Okay. And I want to just take an opportunity also to welcome everybody back into the space. We have Gabriel Vega with us right now. He's the farm manager at San Xavier Co-op Farm.
Hello, everyone.
We have Amy Juan. And Amy, want to talk a little bit about your work?
Sure. It's good, gosh. It's good coding to everyone. Thank you for being with us today. We're really happy to have the opportunity to share about who we are and where we come from and the work that we're doing. And right now, I currently work for the International Indian Treaty Council here in South Tucson. We're a nonprofit organization working for the rights of Indigenous people since 1974. So that's definitely been an elevation in, I guess, the overall scope of who I work for, which is Indigenous peoples all over the world, not just my own community. I'm Tohono O'odham, born and raised. I come from the community of Kumobabi, also the community of Newfields on the Tohono O'odham Nation, and just was raised with the overall sense of giving back to the community and being a part of community. And that's what I've tried to stick by, by the teachings of my grandmas. And it's definitely led me here working with the community right now in terms of food justice, sustainability, looking ahead at climate change and the effect on our foods. And also just the good work of planting and helping other people plant and have access to seeds and resources. So that's what I do now, and just really happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. And Gabriel, you and MARYIA Miles are part of the staff over at San Xavier Cooperative Farms, and I just want to say that Gabriel has been really pivotal to the production of this this segment, and he's a member of the board of directors of the Tucson City of Gastronomy of Tucson. And so Gabriel, if you want to introduce yourself a little bit deeper, and MARYIA, you as well, but I want to say
sure. Thank you everyone for joining us. These times are, definitely different. It's unfortunate, we can't all be together celebrating and eating each other's foods and listening to each other's songs. But there will be time for that. And in the meantime, we'll have to adapt. And this is what we have. So right now at the farm, we're transitioning. There is, although it's a bit warmer than usual, we still are moving as if we were the previous years. So our farm staff is currently harvesting, as you saw in the video, all the all the Tepary beans. In addition to that, we're also planting alfalfa seed. So preparing fields to grow alfalfa, and and it's nonstop here. Our catering service, we just got a late as MARYIA's in the kitchen getting ready to do this Tepary bean hummus for everyone. She's also preparing a meal for the San Xavier District community meeting tonight. So things are nonstop. With COVID, it adds a different layer to everything. It can be a little bit stressful, but with this type of work, it's healing, and it's something imperative that we continue, not only to provide these foods for our elders and our children, but to, as Amy had mentioned, to the greater community, because these are the foods that have sustained peoples in this region for thousands of years, and these drought tolerant varieties will continue to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mariah, I want to just welcome you into the space as well. Thank you so much. And you're the kitchen assistant there at the farm, right?
Yeah, it's a kitchen here at the farm. I'm the kitchen assistant, so I get to work with all the great things that the farm produces here. So that's pretty fun for me. It's challenging, but it's interesting at the same time. So I get to learn a lot of new stuff.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And you're from the San Xavier district, is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, I'm from the San Xavier district, Tohono O'odham. My family's from here. I was raised here, so it's nice to work in the community and get involved in the community because I'm shy. So it's nice to kind of get out of my comfort zone.
Yeah. And I want to make sure and be mindful of, your commitments, but I also want to let folks know that you'll be demonstrating how to make Tepary bean hummus for us right now. And so if you want to get set up and do that demonstration, I welcome you to.
Yeah, that'd be great. Okay.
All right. Perfect.
So this is my little setup I got for you guys. So this is the hummus after it's all done. So we have 4 cups of white Tepary beans, and they just go into the blender. You can use a food processor, a blender, whatever you guys got. And then, so this is 4 cups. And then we have 3 to 4 garlic cloves. We have 1/4 cup of olive oil. And then we have the teaspoon of the lemon zest, tablespoon of lemon juice, and a tablespoon of parsley. And then you can add salt and pepper to taste. I put a teaspoon of each, salt and pepper. And then just blend it and
And Mariah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about how you prepared the beans so that you could blend them? Like how long did you soak them? How'd you cook them?
Oh yeah. So we just start boiling them in a stock pot, a medium stock pot, and it takes about 60 to 90 minutes for them to boil on medium. And then 60 to 90 minutes, and then that's about it. And then we just put all those ingredients in the blender, and that's about it. And you could just put more lemon juice if you like. You can add chili flakes, more salt and pepper if you like. And all sorts of things can go in here. And that's about it.
Fantastic.
And so, yeah, I didn't soak them, but I mean, you can if you like, just to make it a little faster for you. But I think 60 to 90 minutes is a good cooking time for the beans. It's like your usual amount of times for beans.
Yeah. And how much water did you include in the 4 cups of beans?
There's not so much water. It was just the beans. There's maybe like just whatever came out of the beans. I would say not even like half a cup. Just like not whatever comes with the beans. It's not like a whole measurement.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
And then here I made Sonora wheat yeast bread. I made a loaf, and you could dip this with crackers, or you can put it as a spread, or you could put whatever toppings you like on it. I put here this one. I put olive oil and paprika, but this one you could put anything, chili flakes, olive oil, anything you like, really.
And are all of the beans and the Sonoran white wheat, are those available for purchase over at the farm?
Yeah, all the beans, the Sonoran wheat are all available at the farm, at the store. And yeah, you can get them here. So this was really fun to make. Either like that, you can put it on like wheat crackers, anything you like.
Great. Well, thank you so much for sharing that recipe. It's a quick and easy recipe that's super adaptable. And so I hope that people will go over to the farm and pick up some of those dried beans and cook them up. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you can make bread with the flour. We have the Sonoran wheat. You can make bread. You can make a lot of things.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So Gabe and MARYIA, well, everyone really, I just wanted to, talk about a little bit about where situating the farm, right? Where it is. We heard that it's on the outskirts of Tucson, not too far from the downtown. But just talk a little bit about where you're located, right there in the San Xavier district. And, it's right there here in Tucson, or Tucson, as Amy reminded us. And so, yeah, talk a little bit about where you are and how that shapes what you do and why you do it.
Sure. So we're located alongside the river, the Hicton, as we call it, but it was later called the Santa Cruz River. So we're just off of I-19. We're near the San Xavier Mission. So we're in Tucson. So we are the San Xavier district of the Tohono O'odham Nation. So we are one of 11 districts of the nation. And so we are roughly 1,000 acres, and around 900 acres is farmland, and it surrounds the mission. So if everyone knows should know where the mission is, but a lot of people don't know that we are open to the public, and we do have a store, and we are online, and you can come and visit us. Our current hours are Tuesday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. So please visit, wear a mask, and distance yourselves. We have a nursery as well. This week we have a plant sale going on. We have a bunch of winter vegetables. So a lot of right now what's happening is, from what I understand, people are staying home, right? Some of us aren't, but a lot of you are. So a lot of people are making sourdough bread, and MARYIA has been experimenting with sourdough breads, and she's been doing a great job. But we do sell these heritage grains, these that have been milled by our awesome, hardworking staff. And so you have the opportunity to come here, buy these heritage grains, make your own bread, and as MARYIA just demonstrated, make your own hummus. You can purchase, right now we're transitioning into our fall garden, so you can grow fall crops this winter, such as leafy greens, root crops such as beets, carrots, radishes. We have our traditional i'itoy onions, which is like a wild bunch green onion, and you can just cut the tops off and chop them up and put them in your omelets and your salads, and you can essentially use them as chili. Like I said, our nursery has a plant fall sale going on until Saturday, but we'll continue to have plants. And definitely, we'll continue to have plants even after our sale. So, so that's what I think I answered your question. Yeah, we're in Tucson. We're on autumn land.
Absolutely. And talk a little bit about who's participating in your work.
Well, the community is participating. We are a cooperative of landowners. So we have tribal. We lease the land from tribal landowners, and so they're the ones that they elect a board, and the board oversees the farm, and they're the ones that move the direction of the farm. And so, excuse me. So we are a farm of O'odham farmers. Our food production, our hay production, our O'odham farmers, and we're here for the community. We would like to get to, our ultimate goal is to get to a point where we can be economically sustainable, to the point where we can just pack up a van full of traditional foods and just go door to door throughout the whole Tohono O'odham Nation and just distribute all these native foods for free. I mean, that's our ultimate dream. That's what we strive for, and that's why we are here day in and day out.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I was hoping that you might talk a little bit, we're doing some feedback, sorry. Talk a little bit about the recipes that were shared and why you wanted to showcase in particular the Tepary bean. And I'm not sure if MARYIA can still join us, but if we can just have a little bit of why the Tepary bean? Why was that because it was immediate, right? When we talked about, let's talk about the San Xavier Co-op Farm, that was the immediate idea that came to mind. And so y'all want to talk about the Tepary and and I'll follow up.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a delicious, nutritious, packed with protein. It's something that's readily available here, and it's very diverse. MARYIA is doing an excellent job in just cooking it and adding a modern twist to it and making it more palatable to the modern taste buds, because nowadays everyone is more accustomed to saltier foods, sugary foods. And so when you get, if you were to get a bowl of bao and eat it, as the ancestors ate it, it didn't have salt, it had very little salt, and it wasn't something that that we're accustomed to. So I'll let MARYIA talk a little bit about what she does with these Tepary beans to make it more palatable to our modern taste bud.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for the hummus, that's one of our recipes that we created with the Tepary beans, and then we did the brownies last week or a couple weeks ago. We make all types of different soups, like a cold bean salad. So it's very versatile, and I think just beans are a staple in itself. For so many cultures, so that's just our staple for our culture. So I think it's interesting.
That's great. And are you enjoying working with it? With the
yeah. Right now, I'm working with also the Sonoran wheat that we grow and the hard red wheat that we also grow. So I'm creating a sourdough bread with that to go with our soups and our hummuses and our other dishes that we have on our menu or going to have on our menu with the other products that we have here on the farm. So that's pretty fun for me because I get to do my research and also experiment and then also create it and present it and do whatever else with it. Whatever comes to mind, I could do with it. So that's pretty fun for me.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
And Amy, thank you for sharing that beautiful song in the video.
You're welcome.
During your conversation on the film, I wonder if you can talk a little bit more about the ways that O'odham food can be better understood, and how you, well, all three of you are collectively looking to expand like ideas around the O'odham foodways. I know it's a big question, but if you
No,
would.
it's a good question, and that's what we want to tackle here and teach here, is that, you know, all of these foods have such deep roots, like literally in our himduk, in our culture, and on the land here. Like Gabe mentioned earlier, a lot of our foods are drought tolerant, and that's just an example of how special and unique and resilient they are, and they always have been. So what we gain from that is songs and stories and teachings about how these foods came to us, how to grow them and how to care for them. And in the video, I shared a planting song, and that song was passed down to us by an elder within the Sourdough district, San Pedro community, Francis Manuel, but the late Francis Manuel. And you know, to be a young person and to be sat down with an elder who's teaching you things you're not ever going to learn in school. Well, actually now we're able to learn them in school, but before it was actually a regeneration. And I just wanted to share that you know, this everything that's happening now it's been really amazing to see, because from my experience, I would say within the past 15 to 10 years, we've really seen like a renaissance of O'odham foods in our community. And there's a lot of reasons why the foods weren't available to us, or just people weren't farming anymore because of different historical events and just changes in the way that we live. But thanks to farmers, like I mentioned in the video as well, Clifford Pablo and other elder farmers who came to us and said, "Hey, we need to grow farmers." It's been a journey and a lot of work, a lot of hard work, a lot of education, a lot of going into schools, a lot of going into the community and saying, "Hey, let's remember. Let's talk about our grandparents. Let's talk about our great grandparents and the villages that we grew food in, and you know, see how we could bring that back to life." And so, like Gabe mentioned, a lot of the farmers, all of the staff at the San Xavier Co-op Farm are O'odham, and that's just amazing to see, like young farmers like Josh, Sammy, and everybody else on the food production crew. Like it's a learning experience, but it's also, it literally is like a labor of love. And so when we're talking about these foods, we're not just talking about it as like food, you know, that we're just taking into our bodies for nutritional value, but we're also taking into our bodies for spiritual value and for a connection to, you know, who we are and to our people. And so I was really hyped to talk about Tepary beans. We actually had a Tepary bean gathering in my community, in Komobabi community, where we had these conversations and talked about celebrating our foods, what we want to see in the future, and also talking about very real issues such as climate change. If you live here in Tucson or Tucson or in the Southwest, you'll know that we had a really dry year this year, really harsh, hot year. And, you know, we were able to really pay attention to our foods and how they were going to do. And to have a successful crop is like an amazing accomplishment. But again, all of the resilience going into those foods are now what we're going to eat. And what's available to us. And looking towards the future with a changing climate, the way that we see it now, especially with you know, being able to connect with other Indigenous people around the world, we're seeing that, you know, their traditional foods are in danger because there's less water, there's desertification happening out there in the world. So a lot of people are looking to us as desert people, as Tohono O'odham, for solutions or advice on how to grow food. So it's really bigger than us, you know, as we move into the future. And it all starts with that little bean, that little bean that can do so much with very little water, and it tastes good. It's delicious.
It is delicious. And I'm thinking about, you bring up some really important concepts, right? Around sustainability, around food justice, around equity. And so I just wanted, maybe you all just to reflect a little bit, Gabe, if you want to reflect a little bit about how the farm is situating itself to share that expertise, but also kind of what y'all are learning as well and wanting to share with the local community and the international community about desert, what it is to live in a desert and to continue a sustainable food crops.
Yeah, so absolutely. So, it's not, indigenous communities have been faced with illnesses and diseases, for a long time. It's something that we have endured. It's something that we will survive. And the resiliency is as strong as our foods. So I think by us continuing to grow whatever our native foods may be, the rematriation of these foods, here we are not only doing that, but we're doing the rematriation of the river. The river, through our agricultural practices, we are raising the water level in the water table to a level where the river has a perennial flow. So taking care of our environment, taking care of our animal relatives and our plants that are surrounding the farm, our agricultural practices are important to us because we understand the significance of everything as one, everything as a whole. And so bringing these crops back to a point where we can feed ourselves, feed our elders, feed our communities, is something that's always happened. There may have been points in time, for instance, when the river ran dry here, that agriculture had ceased in this area, but there's others in the nation that have continued to grow with the rains. And so, these instances of the uncertainty of climate change, right, is something that we are definitely facing, but I think throughout the generations, we are prepared for it because we are farming, and we are farming these crops that are resilient and that can face drought and that can face disease. And, so as the, and something also we've been considering is, a lot of our communities are hit hard when pandemics or disease happen. So how are we going to operate as a farm where there's customers coming in frequently, where staff go home to their families and we don't know what they're doing there or going out to the stores. So it was really frightening because we didn't want our staff to get infected. We didn't want our staff to spread it. But we took the measures, and we've been following the CDC guidelines, and we've been protecting ourselves. We mask up, and we care about our community. So when we go home, we make sure we take care of ourselves and take care of our families. And so, as I mentioned in the video, we've had some assistance, some grant funds that have come in and helped us to do free meal distribution. So MARYIA has been cooking meals for up to 400 people. Would come and drive in, like a drive-through setup, and we would just ask them, how many meals do you need? Like, oh, you need 10? Okay. And we'd bag up 10, and they would drive on out, and they would, go home to their family and distribute these foods. And we've been teaming up with the San Xavier district, where we've been able to provide them with their dry goods, with our beans and with our wheat. And we've been able to send these foods to the district, and they would put them in their meal boxes and for the community. And also we've been giving away our seedlings and our fruit trees. I know Amy had taken some, I believe, figs to her mother's, and so these grants allowed us opportunity to do that. So we are very grateful that we can do these things and we can provide. And even without the grants, we would still be doing it. And that's what we do. We are generous. And if we have never turned away a donation. We have people coming for wood. We have people asking for a cow for feasts. We have people coming, when a community member dies, they'll have a feast and they'll come and they'll, ask for bow or what have you. And so, that's why we're here for. We feel, that if we give, we will get in whatever way we will be rewarded. So these COVID times, things are absolutely different, but as the way we operate, the way we care for our crops and our land and our people hasn't changed. We'll continue to do what we do.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing all of that. And, I've always felt when I go out to the farm so welcomed and so embraced, and the sharing that happens just real quick, right? In the store, choya buds, or the way that they're pickled, or the way that people share about their love of the food. It's really a beautiful experience. One of the things that really stands out to me is we were out doing some tabling at an event, and these children were running around with little dried pieces of saguaro fruit that had been dried, and they shared it. And it was such a beautiful space and such an incredible experience. And so I want to just thank you all so much for the work and for leading so many conversations. When we're talking about the City of Gastronomy and the ways in which that's tied to the larger sustainability of the largest ideas around sustainability, I think that it really exemplifies, the farm really exemplifies all of that. And so I know that we're running tight on time, but I wanted to just ask you if you wouldn't mind to just think about and share, what are a couple of things that each of you want the community to know and better understand about your work? If you wouldn't mind sharing that. And maybe MARYIA, would you mind starting?
The thing I would like for the community to know about the kitchen area, maybe, just the different things that we're doing, that we have things coming up that I'm excited about, because it takes time and practice into the things that I do. So that's really nice and interesting for me to do, because after my finished product, I get to package it and put it into the store for sale. So that's pretty nice, because I get to do it from start to beginning, from research to everything in between. We're planning holiday baskets with the bread that I'm creating right now. So hopefully we can have a big sourdough loaf, a circle one, with different stuff in there, maybe some prickly pear jelly that I like to make, and I learned how to make here. It's pretty interesting because I didn't know how to make it, so I had to do my research again. So everything I always had to do research, and that's fun because you get to learn from different people's experiences and then create your own experience and then learn from that. So that's what I like. And then also we're gonna be doing a baked good basket that we're gonna have baked loaves, say a butternut squash that we're working with right now. Yeah, a butternut squash loaf with other items in there, maybe some cookies or something. We're still creating that, but that's exciting for me because I get to make it. So that's really fun, and that's my passion, to create something and give it away or whatever comes after that. That's what I love about my job. So that's pretty fun for me.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that.
You're welcome.
And Amy, what about you?
I guess I would say, like, from a local to global kind of thought is that I would want people to know that you know, we we are here, and we are a big contribution to the city and to the accomplishments that the city celebrates, such as being a city of gastronomy, and that you know, O'odham, our native people in general, our foods aren't about fried bread, although it is good, especially with some beans, but that the foods that we're talking about, like the Tepary beans, like the bao, are the foundation of who we are, and that it deserves to be celebrated and to be recognized for its role in what we celebrate, you know, in our community, especially here in Tucson with all the mix of cultures. And then also to know that, you know, as we're doing this work, as we're out in the fields, as we're observing the changes in our environment, that we also want to be a part of those conversations, because we do have close relationships to the land. And this is our homeland. This is where we've been for thousands and thousands of years. And so we do have that intimate connection and deserve to be part of conversations around food and around planning for the future. And so that's pretty much it. And I want to take the time to say, you know, good job to all of the farmers, especially all the young people out there who want to grow food, who are out there doing their best to get their resources together to grow, because you know, that they're playing a big warrior role really in helping take care of the community. So shout out especially to all of the crew at San Xavier Co-op Farm. It's always good to go there and to see them at work and loving it, having a good time, and all of that love goes into the food. So everybody go out there and support.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And Gabe, what about you?
Yeah, absolutely. What Amy said, what Mariah said, you know, Tucson would have not gotten that international UNESCO recognition if it wasn't for the 4,000 years of O'odham agricultural foods. So that's what I'd like to drive there. And I'd like everyone to know you should support your local indigenous communities, support your local indigenous businesses, go out and see how you can be an ally, because a lot of the time these communities are hit hard, whether it's a pandemic, whether it's a wall, whether it's land grabs, whatever it may be. We need you out there to support these organizations, these companies, these businesses, because these people, everybody puts their heart and soul into what they're doing. And what we're doing here is we're continuing this legacy, and we're providing these foods. So please visit and support us. Yeah, and that's that. Thank you all for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. And my deepest heartfelt thank you to all of you. Alejandro, thank you for the beautiful film you created, and thank you all for sharing just a slice of what the San Xavier Cooperative Farm is. I hope that everyone watching and everyone who shares this video later, that y'all will go out to the farm and experience it, because it's really special, and it's so close, and it is part of our community. And so I just want to say it again, thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right. And with that, good night, y'all. And thank you for joining us. Yeah, thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing the beautiful foods. And we hope you get out there and experience our local food stuff. So support your farms, y'all. Have a good night.